The Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP has launched a report on corrupt judges escaping from justice in Nigeria. SERAP in the report highlighted the level of judicial corruption in the country and made recommendations to appropriate authorities in order to improve judicial accountability. I was present for the launch of the report. The war against corruption in Nigeria has taken the country by storm. Since assuming office in May last year, President Muhammadu Buhari has been living up to his campaign promise to make the fight against corruption one of his cardinal programs. Several officials of the immediate past government in the country are now standing trial for corruption. The most prominent, Sambo Dasuki, National Security Advisor to former President Goodluck Jonathan. But there are fears in some quarters that the Nigerian judiciary could derail the anti-corruption war. And recently, the spotlight has been on some judges who have come under criticism for allegedly granting frivolous bails to prominent persons charged with corruption.
Particularly is the popularization of what we have here.
Worried by the development and determined to bring corrupt judges to justice, Lagos-based human rights group Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP is now speaking out. The group launched a report titled "Go Home and Sin No More: Corrupt Judges Escaping from Justice in Nigeria," which highlighted through case studies what it calls the impunity of corrupt judges in the country.
The noticeable trend had come to be that nothing happens further than suspension or dismissal of a judicial officer who violates the code. In some cases, where judges, magistrates, especially those who sat at election petition tribunals, were found to have collected bribes amounting to millions of naira to pervert the course of justice, to give judgment in favor of a party who, on the facts and on the state of the law, do not deserve judgment, or against a party who, on the facts and the state of the law, deserve judgment. The disciplinary body, the NJC, will recommend dismissal of the judge concerned. Nothing follows thereafter. The erring judge or magistrate keeps the bribe, and in most cases, the judges are paid their full entitlements in terms of gratuity.
The report showed that lack of judicial accountability for corruption has impeded efforts to fight corruption at the highest level of government. Several recommendations were made to appropriate authorities in order to improve judicial accountability.
To identify and review all outstanding cases of judicial corruption and refer such cases to appropriate anti-corruption agencies. Apply the code of conduct for judicial officers in a consistent and transparent manner with full respect for the fundamental guarantees of fair trial and due process. Grant suspected corrupt judges the right to have disciplinary decisions reviewed by a higher judicial tribunal. Number 4, improve the process of selection, appointment of judges, and promote their continuing education and training. Protect their professional integrity, enforce disciplinary proceedings in a fair and consistent manner.
The Office of the Attorney General of the Federation says it would look into the recommendations of the report with a follow-up action.
The Office of the Attorney General of the Federation is working on a holistic reform of the justice sector, and this reform will be total. It will touch the litigants who are unscrupulous, it will affect the lawyers, it will affect the judges. So it will be total. The report by SERAP is not anything new. What SERAP has done is to compile a list of judges who have been sanctioned by NJC with recommendations to the government. And like I said earlier, government is already looking at that area, the sector of the economy, of the nation, with the effect to having a holistic reform of that sector.
Even though the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation has assured that this in-depth report against erring judges will not be overlooked and forgotten, bringing corrupt judges to justice will surely not be an easy task. But there is always a starting point.